Actually, it's interesting, Rory. I think Gavin's viewpoint there was absolutely the predominant one up until people saw the Romania game and Sexton looked so good, and it was almost on that basis that, like for instance in Rob Kearney's case, he said actually if he's looking this kind of fit now, I'd be tempted not to give him minutes. That almost planted a seed.
Well, yeah, well, I've always had the sense that this week would mirror the Samoa week, that they would play the team that played against England and then they would rotate in a very similar way to the team that played against Samoa and Bayonne. And Farrell spoke a lot that week about mirroring the first 2 weeks in in France, that they would. And I thought selection would go along that way. And I still kind of do, although there's a growing sense here that he's going to go very strong. I don't share it yet. I haven't been convinced, but look, I don't have any insight into the team just now. I would imagine that the plan is to start Ross Byrne, to give him that week, and to bring Sexton off the bench. I think he was always going to be involved this week. I think it would be a strong side without being the team that played against Romania. I think some of those players, the ones that came off early, maybe James Ryan, Caelan Doris, will be involved. I think you get Ryan Baird in there. You probably play what's the second choice front row, and bring the first, to give Porter Furlong the bench job, so they're not playing 50, 60 minutes going into the Springbok game, where the both of them are probably going to go 80 or close to it next weekend. I think the sense in some rotation, I think the sense in Sexton coming off the bench, being there in case things go wrong, as they did in Bayonne. And in Bayonne, they brought on James Ryan, Rob Herring, Peter O'Mahony and a couple of others, and they steered the ship home, and that was a very tight game in very difficult conditions, which is going to be again on Saturday night, because the forecast for Nantes is that the Atlantic's going to sweep in and take us all, I think. So it's right. It's going to be very difficult conditions. So and the bench will be needed. So I think he's going to stack his bench with starters, and they're going to get 20, 30 minutes under their belts, but they'll be fresh for South Africa. That's my sense of it. I couldn't let it be very, very wrong when he names the team tomorrow. And I think it's the right call. I think Ross Byrne needs that week, because if Sexton goes down, having him have run a week at the World Cup will be very valuable. It does seem like he is the next man in if Sexton goes down, whether Crowley covers a couple of positions off the bench, but in their thinking, his experience has him ahead of Crowley in the pecking order when it comes to Sexton being out. So I think he gets the week, but we'll see.